Good morning, everybody, and happy Aloha Friday. And I'm so glad that a few of you, when I first came on, did notice my beautiful Hawaiian shirt that I'm wearing today. So it is because not of Halloween coming up, it is because it is Aloha Friday, casual Friday in Hawaii. I wear Aloha shirts every Friday. But of course, tomorrow is Happy Halloween, so hopefully you're getting in a festive mood. I know it's going to be a little bit different in the pandemic era, but we will do just fine. And also what today is National Frankenstein Day. So it is not celebrating Halloween, although it is always the last Friday of October, but it celebrates or recognizes author Mary Shelley and her novel about Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein novel. And of course, you know, the book is a little different, or I guess a lot different than how the movies and other stories evolved. So it does work a little differently, but so you may want to look at that. So I want to welcome everybody to PSG of Mercer County. PSG of Mercer County is a group that is here for you. Anybody that is in any type of career transition. It doesn't matter the reason why. It could be that your a former organization had a reorg. That happened to me twice. Could also be you're taking your career in your own hands, or maybe you've been out of the job market to take care of something personal and you're getting back into it right now. We are here to provide you information, education, guidance, all to make your job search just a little bit more effective for you and more efficient for you as well. We do have a lot of resources, and of course, if you've been on these calls before, you know that we do have a LinkedIn group with over 1,600, that's 1,600 members. So if you are not yet a member of our LinkedIn group, you are very welcome to join. In LinkedIn, go to the group section and search for us, PSG of Mercer County. And then when you do, there's a join button, and press the join button, and you will immediately be put in pending status. We have it set up that way. If you and I haven't met yet or been introduced, send me an email to psgofmercercounty@gmail.com and just say, hi, David, I was on the meeting. I also joined the LinkedIn group. Please accept me into the group. And the reason why we only accept people into our group who have been, I should say our LinkedIn group, we only accept them in our LinkedIn group, who have been to one of our virtual or in-person meetings. We're trying to keep this program only for the people that are caring about job-seeking support. And we're trying to keep the name collectors and list collectors out of the group, just so we don't get solicitations. And so that's why we do that. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, or send me a LinkedIn in message, or send an email, as I mentioned before, just so that I know you have attended. I do check our attendance and try to make sure that I only accept people in our group. We also have our website, which is psgofmercercounty.org. It is over 120 pages of content. And I'm going to actually share my screen right now and demonstrate or show you a new screen or new page that we just put up. And so give me a moment to do that. There we go. And so hopefully now you are seeing our website. Many of you are familiar with it. Our menu item right across the top. And our job postings, we changed the menu item to this button here, Open Jobs. And that's where we have a page that has 2,600 career page links in it. But we added something new. Oops. There we go. We added this job postings here. So this portion down here is the original job search page where you click on a county, and then there's a bunch of topics that are there. So if you were interested in financial services, and then these are links in Mercer County to financial services companies. And then when you click on them, you will go right to their own career page. So we don't post jobs per se, or we haven't posted jobs. We go right to their career page. We've got over 2,600 links that are like that. But we added this brand new link, and it's called Job Postings. And we've started a partnership with the Society of HR Managers in Princeton, HRMA. So we have this job postings page, and we're inviting the HR managers at the HRMA of Princeton to post jobs. So this is just a sample. that's here. It's kind of a blog style of a page. And what we're hoping over the next few weeks is that we'll begin to have HR managers. We're also going to reach out to some recruiters and other organizations. We will allow them to post any open position completely for free. They don't have to pay us anything. We don't want any money. So for recruiters, it could be a very easy way, inexpensive way to earn some exposure for open positions. But how does this help you? Well, you have two things that you can do. So again, you go to open jobs and to job postings to get to the page. And what you're going to want to do is go right here. You're going to want to subscribe. Put your email address in. It's completely hidden and in our website. Nobody has access to it. But when anybody does post in here, when any of the recruiters post in here, you will get an email that will tell you that there's a post. So that's part of what subscribe is for. Of course, you can also come here every few days, a few weeks, once it really starts get going, and you'll be able to scroll up and down to see the different positions. We're going to have up to 3 at a time show, the most current ones at the top. And then once it gets going, and there's a lot of them, you can just use this quick links over here to go to the exact posting. So right now in 2020 in October, we have 1. But what you can also do is you can search, and here you would put in a keyword. I'll put in sample since that's the word that's there, search. And what it will do is it'll come to a search screen that will show you all the positions that have the keywords. So it's a job postings page, and I hope that it benefits all of you. What we're trying to do is get more companies, which is why we've spoken to Sherm of Princeton. We want more companies to directly post to us in addition to other places that they do, because it will be completely free for them to post and find the experienced talent that we have as our members. So that is our new job postings page. Okay, so there we are. So that's what we have coming new. Take a look at it when you have a chance. We'll be posting it also in our LinkedIn group as well. So thank you for that. And in just a moment, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Bart and introduce him, just to let you know some of our ground rules. So Bart will be presenting. He does not have a slide deck. It's going to be talking to us directly. We ask that any of your questions during the presentation, you can post them in chat. In the upper right corner of the GoToMeeting is a chat icon. Looks like a little comic book cartoon call out where the comic book's words would be. You click that, all the chat would be there. If you have a question, no worries at all, but please precede it with the word question. So you write the word question and then type your question. The reason why is we of course use chat for other communication as well. Some people introduce themselves or put their LinkedIn information, and that's fine. When I see the word question, or Bart does, it just helps the question pop. We hopefully won't miss any of your questions. So it just helps us out a little bit. Otherwise, keep your audio or your microphone on mute. At the bottom of your screen is a little microphone, and so that should be in white now. And I'll be checking once in a while in case I hear any background noise. I will be muting microphones. But Bart has mentioned that there are at least 2 spots during the presentation where he will invite your comments and questions through the microphones. And early warning, Bart, so far there are at least 66 people on the call. It may get a little confusing, so just bear with us as we get through that if a few of you try to talk over each other, but we'll do our best to manage it. Or otherwise, like I said, put that in chat. As for your camera, that's up to you. If you've dressed yourself up as I did today, you may want to put your camera, but if you naturally look the way I look, you may not want to have your camera on. That's all up to you, but it's up to you, no worries. And then at the end of the program, once we wrap up, we will turn off the recording, but we will keep the session open for about another half hour or so, just for open networking. So if you just want to hang out with us a little bit and chit chat, that's always good fun. It's been a lot of fun for the meetings that we've done that over the past, I can't believe I'm going to say several months. So we've been virtual that long. Okay, but let us get into the program right now. And PSG of Mercer County is very pleased to welcome back author and radio show host Bart Jackson. Bart serves as CEO of Prometheus Publishing and Bart's Books, Ultimate Business Guides, and hosts the Art of the CEO radio show. He is the founder of Prometheus Social Enterprise Awards, bringing the most incentive social contributors to light. His books include CEO of Yourself, The Art of the CEO Behind Every Successful Woman is Herself, and so that's how they do it, Tactics of Business Masters. His latest book is In the Words of My Wife's Husband, a complete source book of business humor. That one sounds like good fun. Bart spent the previous decades as a globe-trotting journalist, carting his pen and curiosity through over 80 countries, drumming up about 150 new writing jobs every year. Bart's most prized writings are his poems penned to his wife Lorraine, which are published on the north wall of their home in Cranberry, New Jersey. To learn more about that, of course, you could visit bartsbooks.com, bartsbooks.com. So PSG is always pleased to welcome Bart Jackson. Thank you.
David, thank you very much for giving me the privilege to talk to this group whom I always call the energized elite. And what I mean about that is most people would like to do something very much, but they can't quite get their arms off the chair to do it. You have all come here, you're all searching, and that gives me energy and makes me very happy to know that there are energetic souls like yourself out there. So allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome you to the year of the plague. We have COVID-19. Well, we seem to be meeting the old Chinese curse of may you live in interesting times. My own curse is may you work for a very successful CEO who has no sense of humor. But at any rate, my company, COVID is everywhere. My own company is opening up its offices back up to bringing in the most essential workers. And according to the schedule, that is, I have been slated to come in on May 32nd, 2021, which makes me a little bit suspicious because I'm the CEO. I guess it shows what they think of me. Anyway, meanwhile, my locked-at-home financial broker has actually confessed to me that his cabin fever has now got him watching cartoons on television, which I think is probably the wisest advice concerning my portfolio he's had in years. And just as a financial tip, when liquor sales boom, it's the time to be very careful of your investments. Someone said to me, this is the third time this week I've run to the liquor store to get enough booze for 2 weeks. So it is and actually I do think that the pandemic is something, I think we have the solution right here. If we can remain as far from each other as our politicians are keeping from the truth, I think we could get the whole COVID licked in a couple of months. But anyway, the bad news is I got 1 million of them, and I give them on laughter vaccines and social media every week. But the good news is that's the last one that you're going to be inflicted upon right now. So let's brush aside the hysteria and the half-witticisms and the rumors, and let's take a look exactly where we are right now. COVID-19 has placed each of us in situations that we never foresaw, and frankly, that no one really has a guaranteed answer for. 1 out of 5 people in our 130 million person workforce no longer has a job, and many of them don't have jobs because the company that they were working for no longer exists. Estimates have risen to 20% of the United States businesses will close or not be fully functioning as we move into 2021. And we all really know the truth. No matter whether your candidate and your party wrestles out a victory on November 3rd, or the other one takes it, either way, our economy, our national health, and you personally are going to face some very hard times. That's the big picture, but let's get to the real picture, that is your personal situation. How does a hardworking dream chaser like yourself respond to the times that we've just been talking about? Well, what I'd like to do is give you three of my friends and tell you and show you how they're responding to it, and just to plant a seed. Number one, Mr. Key Han is living in Washington, D.C. He is polishing up his prototype submergible water turbines that are now functioning in the Manitoba River. This is going to totally revolutionize the $8 trillion energy industry. And he's showing these off to all these salivating utility heads who are desperate for it. And he's at the same time rounding up investors who include one of whom is the CEO of NASDAQ. The stuff is you can look it up, but his energy system is cleaner, cheaper, totally renewable, and unlike fracking, it doesn't provide genocide. So that's one. Doesn't this guy know that business is all faltering and nobody should be growing and expanding? He doesn't seem to. Lisa Doherty, head of the Baltimore Curriculum Project, is this very day uniting two of the worst schools in Baltimore to form them and unite them into a major, really it's a temple of learning where the majority of students are going to go off to college and graduate, as she has done with so many other public schools in the area. Doesn't she know that schools are closing, that we have to do on learning? I mean, isn't she paying attention to all the bad things that are going on? I guess not. And the third one, third gentleman, person, Andrea Bartoli. Now, right now, he is trying to make his way to the Central African Republic. It's a little new country wedged between Chad and Cameroon, and they have an election coming up. And the peace process is faltering because the warring factions are claiming that they won't honor the election results. See, we're not the only ones. And so this is what he's saying, and he doesn't know that you can't get a visa there. So because he's going to go and get it anyway and run this peace process as part of his St. Egidio program. These are three of the people, by the way, that we'll be honoring in our Prometheus Social Enterprise Awards, which we give every year. And you can, as David said, you can go to the website. We're presenting the awards on November 19th. But the big thing about them, that these people are in short saying that life goes on, that dreams and sweat can keep conquering circumstance. And what that really means is that there's plenty of room for you all to make your mark. So at this point, let's get down to the business of helping you do just that. I'm Bart Jackson, as David said. I'm head of Prometheus Publishing and the Art of the CEO radio show. And yes, I have just put out a book called In the Words of My Wife's Husband that's humorous. But normally when I give talks, I provide, I think I open up toolboxes. That's what I do. The last time I was here, I talked about the agencies and the professional organizations and the individuals whom you could contact to give you jobs. But in these times, I'd like to, if I may, talk about something that's a little different. I'd like to open up another toolbox, and that's one of attitudes. And by this, I mean the way you set your mind and develop your approach to go seeking that next job. And so for the first part, I'd like to help you sort of bootstrap your image. My old chestnut that I always say is that you are never, ever looking for a job. You are always offering your services. In your mind, hopefully you're giving, not begging. And if you take that attitude, if you look at it that way, that you're spreading a gospel, it'll really help you turn around and give you a more honest and more hopeful look at what you're doing. And I'm sure you all have much to give, but I'm going to bet 10 cents of my own money that you're not always letting folks know what you've got to give. If I were to ask someone, Joey Himmelfarb, could you unmute yourself for a second? No? Yeah. Joey?
Morning, Bart. I'm here, yep.
What do you do? What's your trade?
Right now I'm unemployed. I'm looking for work as a either coach or customer service rep.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. We got one more. Nancy Aronson, love the hat. What do you, unmute yourself. What do you do? What's your trade?
I'm a software developer, engineer, and I'm looking for a job as an individual contributor.
Okay, great.
Doing that.
Thank you. That's excellent. I spend my time looking to do what my wife tells me, but that's there's more profit in that than any work I've ever had. But anyway, and that's all fine. But at this time, times have changed, and employers are looking for what I call your second tier skills. That is the other jobs of which you are capable, resources, sections of the company that you can handle. And in this, a clown wrote this book, The CEO of Yourself. And in it, in the chapter 2, called, he asks you to walk around your warehouse. You're head of the enterprise of you. Walk around your warehouse and look at your assets. So I'm going to give you a few, and while I give you these few, I'm going to ask you to think of some of the kinds of assets that are similar. For instance, are you the kind of guy who or lady who gets the group meeting moving? You're the one who has the words and the energy to set folks up in their project and get them on track and get the team going. So in other words, are you the team facilitator or the team leader, regardless of your position? Maybe you're, as you walk around the warehouse, you're going to say that you realize you're a distiller. And no, David, that's not what I had in mind. So are you the person who can take an idea that others have given and sum it up into something succinct and understandable in either in speaking or in writing? Are you that person? So in other words, are you the presenter of prospective clients, a presenter to prospective clients or investors, or are you a shareholder liaison? C, are you a solutions architect? In other words, when a new challenge comes out, you're the guy who comes with all these scattershot ideas about how we could do this, we could fix it with this, we could fix it with that. And so you're the kind of person who might want to be head of the creative department or innovation department. Maybe you're a finder. This is what my wife's husband does best. He's the one who knows all the best people. He knows where the talent lies. Maybe you're a consensus builder, the one who can always weave the needs of others into a direction toward getting things done. So you're the managerial or staff liaison. You see what I'm saying here? You have skills that go along with the knowledge you've gained. So so what I'd like to do now is stick up a hand. Those of you who have the screen out, does anyone have a skill that they think that is beyond their job? Anyone have a skill? What are you, Peter Gonzalez? Do you?
Beyond my job, I'm fluent in Spanish and I never use it professionally. And I mean fluent. I'm not conversational, I'm fluent. And I've never been called on to use it.
Let me just tell you that a year ago, a friend called me who's a consultant. He needed someone who was a Spanish speaking to go into various businesses and help them. It's something to think of. It's something to offer. Anybody else? I bet Joe Levinson does. Joe?
Photography. It's not required in my current job.
Mm-hmm. God, that truly is an art form. There's those who can snap and those who have the artist's eye. So good for you. Someone who doesn't want their face to be seen. Rondell Workman, what about you? Or not?
What's that? Sorry.
Oh, right. Yeah. What is a second tier skill? Something that you would add, a way to maneuver, help with people, something beyond the knowledge training.
I really enjoy managing people, mentoring, and helping them grow and develop. So outside of a skill set that's required for a position, I really do like to highlight the idea. I like mentoring and nurturing talent.
Okay, so you get the idea, and I think those are all great things, but we don't tend to share that. We sort of box ourselves into the skill sets that we think others want. And by the way, I hope you noticed that when I was reading off those things, the skill sets that I suggested, the second tier skills, I made up my own titles, and this is something that so I invite you to look at those skills you've got, find a use for that in wherever you're seeking, and give it a title. It's something that's where all those silly titles came from in the beginning. So keep going. I do have a friend who actually has and he worked for IBM, and they gave him the title. They couldn't figure out what to call him, so they called him a solutions architect, which I just love. Things go wrong. And all right, now the second thing that so you see that you've got a lot, and you've probably got more than you're showing, and so I invite you to show it. The second thing that's happened here in the middle of COVID is that you are in charge of the enterprise of you. You're an entrepreneur now. You're seeking a job. The enterprise of you is your product. The employers are your market. And what's happened? Above all, the market has changed. The people you are selling to, selling your marvelous self to, are totally different. Now you can handle this two ways. You can take the bad entrepreneur's way, and that's, I'm going to spend all my time working on my product. If I make my product better, I'll take more courses, I'll take more training, if I make my job perfect, people will drop down of the blue and hire me. I know this. A lot of people who know that go out of work real quick. Then there's the successful entrepreneur's method, and that's he takes rule number one of any new business. Look at your market. What do they need now in these COVID times? And and it's simple. It's strange. It's simple. I'm an employer. I look at this and I say, my stock shares are down. No one is buying. I can barely meet payroll, and yet my operating costs go merrily on, and only with a fraction of the revenue thanks to this darn COVID, and there's no end in sight. In short, employers are desperate, and they're worrying about survival. So what does a creative entrepreneurial job seeker do? Well, instead of touting your greatness, look at it from their point of view. What you need to do is throw your potential employers a rope. Give them something they really need. Find something that adds financial value, that adds survival value, something that saves time, that saves expenses, that cuts operating costs, maybe a better, or lays out a better payment plan with the funds he does have. Best of all, something that will bring in revenue or develop new clients from a place that you never thought of before. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. So I'm telling my wife, what I'm going to say to you all, and she looks at me and says, okay, big mouth, this sounds easy. So I'm going to give you, says she, 3 industries, and let's see if you can actually come up with something and give a package that you might offer to this as you're applying for the job. So first one, she didn't really, she didn't want to make it easy on me. So the first one she gave me was real estate. And in other words, there's a job that's having its own roller coaster right now. So I thought about it, and I'd actually had talked to a real estate person before. And what I thought about was the real estate, if I'm talking to a real estate broker, the broker's profit comes from sellers. And real estate profit, it comes from the sales, it's the salespeople. The trouble is that most of the salespeople see themselves as pitch women and pitch men rather than CEOs of their own business. And so I offered to present a series of seminars to help them see themselves as business people, to handle their work as a business, not someone who just gets out and pitches, but to set up to follow a regimen, to set up an organizing calls and reporting system with a follow-up protocols, to make a time motion study of their own efforts so that they can prioritize where to put their time, how to generate leads, set up their leads people, put them in an organization so they realize that they're providing duties, favors for you and helping you design. All these things that something that a CEO would do, that is a person running, an entrepreneur running their own business. And with these brief and the other thing was that they meet on a regular basis with the broker for new ideas. All right, so that was what I came up with that one. And my wife sort of looks at. By the way, think about this as I'm blithering this. You can either run off and get a morning scotch, or you can go. You can think about what package would you offer someone in your field. So let me give you the second one. I thought my wife said, "All right, the real estate's not too bad. Here, let me get tougher. Stupid." We have these pet names for each other. What would I offer a restaurant owner in a business where 1 out of 5 is currently going under, an industry where in the retail and restaurant industry used to have 50% of the retail food dollars. It has now dropped to 20, and it's moving into the teens, and they're really down. What am I going to say to? I'm going to a restaurant and I'm seeking a job with a restaurateur, and I think about this and I said, well, people are starving for live entertainment in COVID. I look at and live entertainers are just plain starving. So take your outdoor dining, or an indoor, hire a theme singer that fits your restaurant, fits your clientele, fits your people. If you were an Italian eatery, you could get a theme singer, an opera tenor, to sing a medley of selected opera areas. Then you don't just do that, you contact local opera clubs, contact church choirs, contact singing groups, and call them and invite them to make reservations. You make an easy thing for them, and you might even invite the local winery, one of the New Jersey wineries, to bring out and have a special wine for the occasion. And you line up, you set up a phone call system for that. And my wife still wasn't impressed. She still said, all right, let me give you this one. Live entertainment. What do you do for in this age for a stand-up comic who has no profitable place to stand up? What are you going to tell him, white boy? So I thought, and I selected the guy who wrote the foreword to this book. This is the one, in the words of my wife's husband, Eddie Brill. Eddie is a stand-up comic who, for 17 years, was the warm-up act for David Letterman and also was his booking agent. And he's now reduced to going on Zoom rants and things like this just to keep his name alive. So I talked to Eddie, and I found out that Eddie has, over the years through his Letterman contacts, has met dozens, hundreds of top name comedians and performers. So, and he has and I found out he was sort of jotting down stories on this. I said, Eddie, what you're going to do is you're going to collect these into a book. So I gave him a couple of publishers, and I said, and the way you're going to get it going is on your social media, you're going to post one of these little stories, and then back he had one on Don Rickles to put that out. And I said, and by the way, on the next week, tune in for Seinfeld or whomever he had in mind. And this way he would at least be known as someone there. And I'm going to ask you for some of yours, but I just want to give you a little key before we do this. In all these things, and all these suggestions, and all these ropes you're throwing you're offering to potential employers, you have to have what I call the Wayne Newton approach. You have the whole package. You don't just say I'm a singer. You offer them the whole act. So you talk about, you're the one who's going to make the calls. You're the one who's going to set up the publicity. You're the one who's going to get it going. In other words, without you, it doesn't happen. So he's hiring. You're not just dumping work in his lap or an empty idea. You're dumping the whole product, and hire me, and you got it done. That is the advantage. All right, now that's some of my ideas. So let's talk around. I can see Frank Powers is just burgeoning with ideas. Frank, what would you say to someone? Go ahead.
An idea for what? An idea for what, Bart?
Well, pick an industry, and what would you say to an employer that you could do that you could help him improve?
I'm really good. I get delivering. I get things done. I take ideas and I implement them, and then I'm willing to adjust them afterwards based on the results.
Okay. Have you got what kind of what kind of trade have you been dealing in? What industry?
I've been in software.
Okay, let's take software. I'm a software man. I'm looking at you. And I show you my firm. I got a software firm. Got any ideas for me that you could throw me a rope? You got anyone?
Sure. Do you have mobile-like access to your different sales applications? Do you have an app that you can put on your phone that you can pull up on your iPad? Is it available to as broad an audience as possible, yet in a secure manner?
Okay. Wow. Good. Listen, I think I want this guy. If you could fix my my technological problems, and if you could give my head tech person a personality, it'd be great. So Vance Davis is sitting there, and Vance, do you have any ideas that you could offer someone in your industry or any industry?
Sure. One thing I thought of, being one who's been in banking for a long time and in analysis, is to provide analysis for, in these days and age, a lot of people only use their phone. But for certain items like Zoom meetings, the phone doesn't really work that well. So mine would be to find a way to person take through their phone access to, in essence, a larger screen, or another way to kind of go about doing Zoom meetings and Skype meetings and things like that. So it was like, take your phone, you connect to something in the cloud, so you can still get the benefit of a larger screen, even though you only have a phone.
That's Vance. We need that. That'd be great. I want that for my phone. But I haven't got time to do it. Could you do that? Could you do it for me?
Sure, I'll build the analysis, break it down for you, so you have simple choices.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Anyone got an idea? Stick a hand up if you have a face on the screen. Anyone got a good idea? I bet Lisa Westerfield, right here. She looks like one of she came on like one of Macbeth's witches, cool it with a fenny snake till in the oven, broil and bake. Wonderful. Lisa, tell us, you got an idea? You got an idea that, can you throw me a rope in my industry? Throw me a rope, I'm an employer. You have to unmute. Can you unmute?
Do you want me to throw you in industry?
Pick an industry, but pick your own industry that you like, whatever.
Okay, how about healthcare?
All right, yes, great. Now, I'm the head of a hospital, and and you're coming to me, and I say, if I'm head of a hospital, I got woes and problems. I have all these people all this staff, and I'm doubling the workload, and yet I have to cut down the staff to keep on. Help me out here. What can you do for me? If I hire you, what can you do for me? What ideas?
Okay, so I'm making this up because I work on the engineering side, but engineering, it's probably how to redesign facilities, or even the tents that they're putting up to handle overflow from COVID.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay, that's what you do? Yeah.
I help the architects, engineers, and contractors get that work.
All right, this sounds great. So, but my point is, we got to get these tents up, and I have no idea how to do it, and we need to do it cheap, but it's got to be effective, and it's got to look nice. Give me some ideas. What do I do?
I can bring in a team of engineers and architects that can help you do that.
So you got the talent. You know where the talent lies, huh?
They have the talent.
All right. All right. Okay. God, this is it. I mean, you've got these ideas. When you go home at night and you sit there and you swirl a scotch and you say, what we really should be doing in this company? That jot it down, keep it up. That's your asset. That's what you've got, but you've got to deliver it as a package. I call the Wayne Newton approach. What I meant by that was Wayne Newton was a brilliant singer. He went to, and he became Mr. Las Vegas because he didn't go into the casting director and say, I can sing a song. What he did was he went out and he gathered together he got comedians, he got showgirls, and he put them together in a package, and he walked and he says, I can fill from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock on your stage. And the guy, and of course they want that, rather than I can get on there and sing. See the difference? You put the package together. Anyway, it's just a thought. And so there's all kind. There's 49 questions. Should I stop and take questions, or should I go to the end? What do you think, Dave?
So actually, they're not questions, they're commentary that doesn't directly pertain to the program. So keep it going. But of course, I'll keep an eye out now that you've asked for people to submit questions.
Okay. Well, we're good, and we're going to more, because there is one other thing another thing that was came to me, and that is another thing that has happened in our COVID times is that a lot of the old bets are off. I was sitting at an Association for Corporate Growth marketing meeting. I'm on the committee there. Which, by the way, the Association for Corporate Growth is cross-professional. I invite you, so that's why it's good, I think, for many of you folks here to take a look at. I just pass it on. But the head of the old head of the former head of the ACG said, we're sitting at the marketing meeting trying to find what are good ways to get this company going, to get this organization out there, get more members, blah, blah, blah. And Sally leans back and she says, you realize, welcome to Fantasyland. Everything that we've never tried, we can now try. All the old methods of contacting people, of getting them together are different, and we can do stuff that we would have thought would not have been beneficial for the time before. And so, and this is something that you all could do and think of when you're new bets, the old ways. Yes, you can send out the resume and keep hitting send and so forth, and that may work. I'm not saying destroy the old, but there's new things you can do. And here's a couple of things like I had in mind that I have seen work with other people. Number one, have you thought of reaching out and forming a GoToMeeting or an online group, inviting people to join, as this fella did, a wine tasting program? You bring your own wine, you sit it there, you talk about it. And in other words, what he did was he picked a hobby that he had, and he invited two kinds of people. There's two kinds of people in your job search: business leaders, people who could employ you, and also conduits. Conduits are those individuals who know people, who lead you to people. So he invited some friends, some wives, and several of the conduits and business leaders. He invited a lot. Several came, and they're talking about this as a hobby. He's not afraid to say that he's looking for new positions and so forth. It comes out. It's a great way of connecting with people. There was another fella I know who started, who is connecting with people by a business group. He started a business books review group. So he asked people to read and bring in business books, and they review them. And authors are easy to get. If you want to have them come, everyone's writing a book now on business nowadays. For The Art of the CEO, from January to June, I received from authors who wanted to get on the show 58 books on corporate leadership, which is fascinating. I think leadership, the basics of leadership were developed somewhere between Alexander the Great and Jesus Christ. And I'm not sure a whole lot new has come on, but there sure is a heck of a lot of new books. Anyway, you could talk about business books, but the third one that I thought was really clever, this you can put out a solutions forum for your industry. Okay, Lisa, you said you're in engineering. You could do an engineering solutions or healthcare engineering forum. You can be online, it can be a podcast. You invite people in the industry and perhaps just send out the word to a few select employers that that each week you're proposing a problem, how to handle outdoor COVID testing, whatever. And everyone talks about it, and you make sure your ideas are heard. You're setting yourself up as a silo of information. And I just asked that, so, does this take a lot of extra work? Yes. Is it going to pay off? Yes. Does it beat hell out of sitting there and typing to the 300th one, your resume, click into resume dustbins are us? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's all I'm saying. So give that a try. Think of the new bets that are off. And if anyone has a good one, we'll share that. I just have one more thing, because I see it's the time is saying, Bart, get off here. So quickly, one other thing that has happened. This is a COVID advantage. Everything's changed. We're launching at different times, and what this does give you. This gives you some time to reflect. And so I invite you all to go to entrepreneur rule number 2, go back to the basics and say, just what in heaven's name do I think I'm doing? I ask you to sit down one evening with something warm, good tea, and sit there and reflect, and honesty counts. So write this down. And write these down. I'm going to ask some questions. First of all, why do I work? Why work at all? I mean, you can marry rich. Why work? Is it because I need the cash? Is it to scratch my creative itch? Is it to be a habit? Is it to impress my peers? Maybe all of those, but ask yourself why you're really doing what you're doing. Why are you searching for a job? Second, ask yourself, what do I get out of work? What do I expect to get? Obviously, dollars, respect of others, respect from others, respect from myself. Think about this, because this is going to govern where you're spending the majority of your waking hours. Ask yourself that. And then let's get fiscal here. What is my preferred lifestyle? What is my possible lifestyle? And what are my absolute needs? Do I really need the grass? Do I really need to hire someone who's here nearly legally to cut my grass? Do I need to cut my grass? Do I care? This is what minimal budget will it take for me to survive in this lifestyle? And you think, and then finally, what am I seeking to? What fulfilling aspects am I seeking out of this career? These are all things to consider. To worry about upcoming changes like denying gravity. It's already here. Change is coming. The question is going to be, how do you respond to it? So I invite you all to, as we leave, think about that. And in wrapping it up, I invite you also to, I have David very nicely mentioned some of the books we have, The Art of the CEO, CEO of Yourself. In the words of my wife's husband, they're that. I hope also that you will go to bartsbooks.com, and if for no other reason, I hope you'll all buy the books, but probably even more important, I would like you to prepare to be uplifted. Click on Prometheus Awards. See some of the most fascinating social entrepreneurs. You can see last year's winners. You'll see this year's candidates. And I invite you to come in and look at the invitation and sign up for the awards meeting Zoom. There will also be a Torchbearer Talks book that you can get afterwards. It's a video book. Each of these amazing people will be giving talks, and they're very inspiring. And if you don't want them, make darn sure your kids see them. It's very important. Anyway, I pass that on to you. And in the final words, just remember that you have an awful lot to give out there. And so use it, spend it like a very rare wine, because it is indeed. Now, are there any questions at all?
There are not questions. There's been a lot of conversation among the members, so you've really sparked some interest among some people. That's good. You know, I really, Bart, very impressed with how much of an interactive program this was, considering it's otherwise a webinar or virtual format. So thank you for that. But anyone, if you've got a question or two, if you want to put it in chat, or if you're feeling brave, you want to quickly just unmute yourself and pass it along, share some of the thoughts or questions with Bart. I really appreciated, of course, your idea of leveraging secondary skills, because the secondary skills could be what differentiates anybody from anybody else. A lot of times we call those soft skills as well, you know, other skills. So I thought that was a terrific point. And also a terrific idea, and this was part of the chat, about your idea of forming these virtual meetings or groups. There are a lot of people who talk about that, especially now when we can't meet in person, but they call them job search work teams. Small group of people that get together. And if you want to do it over a glass of wine or a cup of coffee or whatever makes sense, yeah, have some fun with it. So I thought those were terrific ideas, Bart.
Isn't Bart, John Sampson, isn't one of the problems that we face, despite the fact we can't get a job, it's the monthly nut that we have, tuitions, food and insurance, all that kind of stuff. You know, I love, you know, playing the violin, but my real worth, and I've got kids in college, by the way, is IT management.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you, I play the piano to strictly my own delight. I take piano lessons and I meet with my teacher every week, and it does lift my soul. It gives me a discipline, and it directly find me jobs or clients? No. Does it enrich myself and my soul to do that? Oh God, yes. And so when I come before that person to meet him, the potential employer or client, it not only is my own soul lifted, but it also gives me a breadth of things that I can talk about and discuss.
Yeah.
So don't give up the violin. By the way, you know the old difference, but you know the difference between a viola and an onion, don't you? Nobody cries when they cut up the viola. Yeah. Anyway.
The other joke is, do you know the difference between a violin and a viola? And the answer is the viola burns longer.
Pick on that poor instrument.
Or a violin and a cello, even more. Anyway.
Yep. Same sort of thing.
And yeah, I give a whole meaning to the term bass fiddle. Anyway,
Okay. Anyone else have a question? Now, of course, we will keep the meeting open after I wrap up with these couple of announcements. So you're welcome to hang around. Bart, you're welcome to as well, for as long as you're able. And so what we will do is, let me just mute. There we go. What we'll do is we'll keep the session open for a few extra minutes, so that's always very fun. Let's see. So, but just want to say thanks again. Express some of the takeaways that I got out of this, Bart, that were just wonderful. So thank you so much. And as always, thank you for continuing to be a supporter of PSG of Mercer County and the job seeker support community. Of course, everyone, we do welcome you to go visit Bart Books for more additional information. His contact information is there as well if you'd like to follow up with him. Nice coincidence that you picked on Joey Himmelfarb first as a person to ask a question. Joey is actually our presenter next week. So Joey will be here virtually. The Power of a Positive Attitude, which seems to be a nice segue program from this one into his. So we'll look forward to seeing Joey, welcoming back Joey to PSG of Mercer County. So that's next week, November 6th. And then the following week is November 13th, Friday the 13th. Maybe I'll wear the same hat that day as well. Bill Amaral will be back. Inspiration and motivation for your successful job search. So all relevant and important information. We hope that you're available, your schedule allows, and you come visit us over the next few weeks. We are keeping our virtual meetings active and online for the foreseeable future. Of course, we'll wait to get direction from our government leaders about when it's safe to get back to the library. But in the meantime, we will keep staying virtual, so looking forward to seeing you then. Other groups in the area, in 2 weeks, the Breakfast Club of New Jersey, they'll be on November 14th, Saturday morning, November 14th at 8 o'clock. Bill LaChance will be the presenter, and he'll be talking about money-saving strategies during a career transition. Always a great topic. While he's a financial planner, he's not talking about wealth management. Maybe topics similar to John's question about how do you manage your budget to keep, to manage your expenses. So he'll talk about money-saving strategies during a career transition. That includes health insurance, taxes, colleges, investment fees, and the like. You may be interested, of course, if you are 65 or older. The Medicare open enrollment period is still until early December, so some of Bill's discussion may be relevant for that as well. Our cousin organizations, PSG of Central New Jersey, they will be meeting on Monday and having a virtual open meeting as well. So you could see them at psgcnj.biz. psgcnj.biz for more information. And PSG of Morris County will be meeting on Wednesday morning at 9:30. psgmc.org, psgmc.org. And of course, New Jersey Job Seekers, the oldest continuously running job seeker support group, meets each Tuesday evening at 7:30. The link will be put in our LinkedIn group, our PSG of Mercer County LinkedIn group, each Tuesday evening at 7:30. And by the way, even if you don't see the most current posting about job seekers, the link is the same every week. So if you go back and look, and you see last week's, it's exact same. So that's nice and easy. And of course, our good friend George Pace, he still does his weekly webinars on his Facebook page, facebook.com/keeppace. You're welcome to attend that as well. So once again, thanks very much, Bart, and joining us and having a little bit of fun with us. We'll invite you back next Halloween and see what you're wearing then. See, you're dressed up as a businessman today, so that's a nice outfit.
Yeah, I thought I'd play a role.
Yep, and clearly after this meeting, I'm going to go get a haircut. So, but otherwise, everyone, we hope that you all stay happy and safe over the next week. Do have a happy Halloween, and we hope to see you all very soon. Bye, everyone.